Top Shelf. This edition, we're going to explore the festival award-winning film that I co-wrote, co-starred, and co-produced, and that's Third and Fourth Chapters. And this film is about two friends who want to fulfill the unfulfilled chapters of the civil rights movement in their hometown, and how they receive backlash from local law enforcement and local politicians who try to use one friend to set up the other. Shout out to my partners on this, Reynolds and Sean English. It was actually Kiba who had somewhat of an idea of something he wanted to do with law enforcement. And I was working on a piece, I was going to do this Malcolm X piece, and I was out in LA, and I was like, wait a minute, I see a connection here. We may have something, we may have a story. So I remember I was listening to Byron Allen say that he had a conversation, I believe, with the late great Coretta about the last unfulfilled chapters of civil rights. And so I started exploring that more, and I ended up actually, looking into her, the memoir that was released after she had passed, My Life, My Love, My Legacy. And in that book, she talked about how the last unfulfilled chapters of civil rights were equal justice and economic inclusion. And so that was incorporated into this story. And another book was Locavesting by Amy Cortese. Now that in this book in particular, it deals with the idea of local investing and how, and how revolutionary it can be in building community wealth. How it's an alternative to Wall Street, and it brought back the idea about local stock exchanges, about crowdfunding, about creating workers cooperatives, business cooperatives, and just finding different ways to be able to actually create community wealth by investing locally. Another book that also helped inspire when I was doing this writing was The Makings of Mondragon. Now this book by William Whyte and Kathleen Whyte actually is a book about the creation of the Mondragon Corporation that's located in Spain. It's an amazing story about how this entity was created by the priests out of the necessity of the community, and how it became a corporation in building workers cooperatives and all the different needs of the community. And it's extraordinary. It's extraordinary. It's one of the most successful companies in Spain. Those books that inspired the third and fourth chapters. They just with the writings and ideas and everything. And if you want to see the film, there's a link to it in the description below. So you can check those out, get to them, and maybe you might put them on your